Hey, welcome back to the channel and part 2 of our battery upgrade. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, I recommend that you do that first so you know what I'm doing. You can get that link right here. Also, stick around to the end. I have some changes and some more upgrades that I'm doing that you might be interested in. All right, so no more delay. Let's get right into it. Well, it's finally stopped raining so I can get back to this project. The first thing I'm going to do is extend the solar panel wires to the new controller in the cargo bay. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is isolate the solar panels from the system entirely. I'm going to start at the roof. For safety reasons, I'm going to disconnect the MC4 connector that's up there. That way, if the panels are producing any power, it won't be feeding anything into the system. Then what I'll do is I'll disconnect the solar panel or the charge controller from the batteries, and that will essentially abandon that entire leg so I can do the work on that without fear of shorting anything out, shocking myself, stuff like that. So let me show you how I disconnect the MC4 connector. All right, here it is right here. I'll show you how easy it is. Let me get the camera set up. Okay, all that there is to it is just kind of twist this, push this in, and then pull it out. I'll do both of them. Not that it matters, but I'm here, so may as well. There you go. So now the solar panels are not doing anything, not giving me any power at all. Now it's safe to go downstairs and disconnect from the battery. So let's go do that. All right, so here we are at the battery. I've got the solar panels disconnected, so no power is coming through these from the panel. It's only outbound, so here's the positive, here's the negative. Seeing as here, no matter what, we could shut off power everywhere. Ain't gonna make a difference. I gotta disconnect these and they're right to the battery terminal, so it's just as easy. Take the negative side off first, as usual. I'll just cut it, done. Pull that through, positive here. Got it, done. Now I'll go inside and pull those through. Probably won't even be able to see me do it. It's dark in here. All right, so here's one of them. There it is, and here's the other. All right, so now I know that I'm going to abandon this fuse here, and I'm going to use these wires here. So what I'll do is I'll just cut those off. I know nothing's coming through them now, so it's safe. And then I'll cut these to size and I'll splice into those and run them up there. So I'll show you a lot of this stuff once I'm done. I won't go through the tedious and monotonous of doing the actual work unless there's something I think is challenging or warrants further explanation. All right, I'll get to it. All right, like I said, nothing coming in or out of the controller now. So I'm just going to cut all of these off. I'm going to actually not use this 30 amp fuse here either. I'm going to mount a 30 amp fuse in line up at the panel, closer to the panel. So I'll show you that as well. So I'm just going to splice all these together straight through, and then again put this back up there just to hide the hole for now, and we won't have to worry about this. I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. All right, so I got them spliced in with some heat shrink connectors. So I will now heat shrink them. You know when it's done because the material gets a little bit more translucent as it gets closer to the insulation of the wire, and then you can also see a little bit of the glue come out on the ends. So that one's done. You can see the big difference between the two. You'll see this one as it goes on, how it changes. So you can see it kind of sucking up to the insulation. All right, this one's cooled off. Do a little tug test again. That's good. I don't like the way this is long, so I'm going to cut that. All right, here you go. That should be nice and safe now. As I mentioned, I wasn't going to leave the solar charge controller there, abandoned in place. I used my 3D printer. As you saw, I printed out this little panel, put it on there, so now it's a little bit neater, tidier, better looking. And I'll show you how to put on these type of butt connectors to splice it. So first you take off, you can see in the center here, right there, there's a mark. This cable has to go in that far. So you can see you want to take off about like 1/4 of an inch of insulation so that it goes all the way in and hits there. And then you'll do that for the other side. I'm only going to do one side out here, obviously, so let me show you how to do it. Got my number 10 here on my wire stripper. This is 10 gauge, and that's about 1/4 inch or so. Boom. That might be a little bit more, and I can actually eyeball it, see how far it's going to go in. That's not too bad. I can trim a little bit off if I wanted to make it really snug, but not really necessary. All right, let's see. There you go. That's perfect. And then what you do is these crimpers, these are kind of flat, as you can see, and these are for insulated crimp connectors. And what I'm going to do is I will put it in, I'll do it this way just because it's easier for me, until the metal, I don't know if you'll see that, until the outside metal edge here of the connector actually matches up on the die of the crimper. And that way I know that I'm crimping just one side of the connector. And I will put this in. Hopefully you can see. I'll put it down here. I'll put this in. There it is. It's in there. I don't know if you can see it. And then I just kind of squeeze it until it's closed. Ratchet's closed. Boom. Take it out. And you can see that's crimped. And you do give it a little tug test like that. That's in there, man. That's a good cold weld right there. You can take a look in there. Looks cool. Excellent. Now do the other one. Again, take just about 1/4 inch off. Go. Again, we'll line this up. Snug it without crimping. Turn it around just so I can get an eyeball on it. Kind of twist this a little bit just to make it narrow enough so it'll fit in there nicely. Again, get it in. There it is. Boom. Good pull test. Now I will go in underneath. I'll run these through and get the other side connected up. All right, now I'll just feed those finished ends I just did through here. Put enough through so I can find it on the other side. And then I've left all the slack here so that I can perfectly size this to here, tie wrap it all in. I won't have to worry about cutting to exact size beforehand. I will custom fit them in after I dress it in and line it up on the other side. All right, ran out of daylight yesterday, so I'm gonna get restarted today, finishing up on this project. Let me show you what I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna work on the batteries today. I'm gonna take them out and re-terminate all of those other connections. All the ones you see there, exposed copper with the corrosion. I'm gonna redo all of those. First, I'll shut off the battery disconnect there. I will also go in and shut off the converter that is charging the batteries. I'll show you where that is. Right there's the converter, so while I'm here, I'll shut that one off. We still have DC power, so the batteries are still providing some energy. So I'll do the battery disconnect. So all the DC should be off, and I'll also make sure that the inverter is off, so it's not drawing anything from the batteries. Shouldn't be anyhow, but just to be sure, we'll make sure it's off. This will probably be off. All right, so all DC is off. Ellen still has power, still working. All right, this place is a mess. All right, so I'll wait for her to finish up. I'll shut off the shore power just to be doubly safe, and we'll get to it, as the dogs will just camp out today. All right, so I will start by disconnecting the batteries, and you always start by disconnecting the negative first. I guess I'll go from the end of the string here. Well, you can see nothing else DC. So once I get this one off, that'll battery be out of sequence. And then I'll get this one off, and that'll be out of sequence. Use my 9/16 to get these off. I won't go through all this. You'll get the point. Just loosen it up. Go through all of them. Make sure they're all loose first. Negatives down here. All right. All right, so I'll get that done, and we'll take it from there. See you in a minute. All right, now, out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to make sure that there is no power on these positive and negative that are going to the chassis, just in case I miss something. And what I'm going to do first is confirm that my meter is working by testing across the battery to make sure that I get something from there. Let's see. Okay, so that's reading 12.98, so I know my meter is working. Now I'll go down to these connectors down here, these cables, wires, whatever you want to call them, and I get no voltage there, no voltage there. So I am good. The system is safe to work on. All right, so here are the new batteries, and as I mentioned earlier, they don't fit in the existing battery trays. Just miss by, just a quarter of an inch. So obviously I can't put them in like that. Well, you could, but it just doesn't look right, and it's probably not safe in the end. So I mentioned that I had a friend over-engineer a solution for me. And here it is, kind of a pedestal that we measured precisely to fit in here. So it's very snug both ways. And then we have a top here that I'll attach, and the batteries will instead rest on here. And I will secure them down with some battery mounts and straps. There. So I get these in there. That's how they'll go. Slide them perfect. Let me show you kind of the profile here so you understand what I had to do. So I had to actually get them up out of the tray. So this is the new piece here. And let me push them in, hold on, there you go. And then I raised that new piece just above the rails here. You can see it's just a little bit. So this tabletop, if you will ride above the rails. And there you go. So this is made out of PVC board. Costs about $40 for a 2-foot by 4-foot piece, and that's I think that's ½ inch. And then it cost me a bottle of bourbon to have my friend over-engineer and cut it all up. And he actually provided me with the fasteners, and then I just the board's usually white. I just spray painted it black, and there you go. All right, continuing on. All right, so I got the batteries all put in place. I got them all cross-connected, so they're a parallel string of 4 now. And I have not connected the negative or the positive. You can see I have the positives all taped up, and I have negatives taped up too, just for safety. And now, when you disconnect your batteries, you disconnect the negative first. When you're putting them back in, you connect the positive first. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then connect up the negative and see how it goes. We'll take a look at the MPPT, see what that's doing, then I'll reconnect the solar, all that kind of stuff. All right, now I'm gonna wire in the MPPT, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to notice on this end it's not stranded frayed wire. It's stranded wire, but I've put on a furrow. And those just look like this. And then I use this tool to crimp it. So let me show you how I do that. Again, we'll just get a rough idea of how long. I'm going to take off almost 1/2 inch of insulation. I have adjusted my stripper. There you go. And then you just take this, put it on. We'll make sure that it, gotta get it twisted a little bit. Fits in there perfect. A little bit extra, but that's okay. Then you just put it in here and give it a good old crimp. You don't have to crush it like the hydraulic. You just got to get it kind of firm. And then if you can't squeeze anymore, you can release the tool. And there you go. And the nice thing about this is that these will, I loosened up this screw already, loosened up the terminal, and when I put this in, it goes right up there nice and snug. And then, boom, and that's in there. Nice, clean, nothing exposed. It's beautiful. All right, now hook up the other one. Gotta back it off a little bit. And you hook up the battery side first before you hook up the solar panels. And the reason for that is because there's intelligence here that will adjust for the voltage coming off the panels. And if this does not have its power yet, it can't do that work. So you want to make sure you have power to this before you hook up the solar. And seeing as I've got this connected to the battery already, I'm already getting some power to it. Just got to back off this screw a bit more. Well, it is being temperamental. Not quite sure why. All right, well that's gonna, let me see if I can back off the screw while I'm doing this. The other one went in nice. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Okay. There you go. All right, so that was a little bit tough to get in there, but it is in there nice. I will finish up. Got to terminate the solar panel ones now. Seeing as I have the solar disconnected all the way up to the roof, I can put these in here now and do that safely. And then I have the temperature probe. I'll have to connect and place that properly in the battery box, and we will see what is going on from there. All right, here is the finished product, all dressed in nice. Got the Bluetooth adapter connected, got the temperature sensor. Solar panels are still unplugged up on the roof, and I've got the batteries up, hooked in. You can see they're at 13.4. The converter, I put that jumper on, so now we have that running in a lithium charge profile. I turn the batteries back on, and then I turn the circuit breaker back on for the converter, and everything is working. So let me show you the final product on the battery. Oops. Okay, so here are the batteries. All nice. You remember we had copper here with some corrosion. These are tinned copper fittings now, and I've marked all the cables so we know. We got this one battery negative, going to the inverter, and battery, that goes to the chassis, the ground, right? Then we have the negative cross connect, we have a positive cross connect, and then I won't be able to open this with one hand. Stand by. And then up here we have the positive battery, and then that's the inverter right there, the label's down there, and of course the negative cross connect, the positive cross connect back there, and then the MPPT negative, and the MPPT positive is right there. Had to split them on the opposite side of the string because I couldn't fit four connectors on these posts, even though they were the longer version of the post. All right, so that is that. Now down below, let me show you what we did here. So I did replace the fuse and marked it. That's a 40 amp now. I've got the solar wires all dressed in up there, going across. You can see the splice I did right there. Here are the ones for the MPPT coming across. I might tidy those up a little bit, put a tie wrap there. And that is that. Let's go up on the roof and we'll check out the inline fuse that I put in, and I'll reconnect. All right, now it's time to reconnect the solar. What I wanted to show you is this is an inline 30 amp fuse. It's right in here. Let me show you. I'll get some spares. There it is right there. And these are pretty easy to use. Just put this in there. I'm gonna probably put in a solar panel cutoff switch as well. I'm gonna put this on the positive side. So you kind of just put it in, snaps in. I'll connect the negative now. That's in, and now just to connect the positive back up. There you go, and that's all waterproof, rocking and rolling. Here is the Renogy One Core that I mentioned. Basically, it will communicate with all the Bluetooth devices from Renogy. I'm going to install it in the control panel bay inside the RV, and then at the end of the video I will show you how it all works. All right, so what I'll do is I'll install it in here with all the other monitoring stuff. Put a piece of tape here, mark the spot that it'll go. I'll end up going right there. All right, so it turns out that putting the wire down is going to be tough because there is some blocking here with one hole in the block there, and the other hole to get the wire out is down there underneath in the underbelly or in the storage. So I'm going to use this wire here from the inverter switch because it goes down the same place. I'm going to use a pull string, put it on there, double up the pull string so I can pull it back, and then have the other one here so I can pull the other line down and then leave a line in place for next time if I need anything. All right, not sure you can see, but here's where that other wire has come down from that control panel, and I know that it is the thin black one right here, so I'm gonna see if I get any luck and can get this down. There's a lot of slack up there, I know that, so I'm not pulling it down yet. Oh man, there's tons. Let's see, we're hoping we see the green one. Oh, look at that, there's the green string right there. Beautiful. So that was easy enough. So I've left two here. I will cut this now, pull it back up to get this one, and then I will pull the conductors for the Renogy control panel down. Simple enough. And then I'll leave one of these here and up there. So next time I need to run it, it'll be all set. All right, got that done. There it is. Left my pull string behind. And now what I'll do is I'll run this wire following that little bundle there. It'll come up and go through this corrugated over there and then over there towards the battery. I could have followed the line for the inverter and that goes that way, but that would have been too much of a mess to get to. This is just as easy, or actually easier, to do it this way. All right, so a happy little find. As I was running the wire for the Renogy One Core, I realized that I'm coming right by the fuse panel. So I went up, took the fuse panel off, and put my fish rod down, and boom, here it is right here. And I'm going to actually bring the one core into the fuse panel on the DC side and actually fuse it right from there, rather than trying to run the wire all the way over there and figuring out where to hook it up to the battery over there. I don't have a lot of bus bar over there that would make it easy, so I think this will be good. There's a spare spot on the fuse box, so I'll just run it in there and call it a day. I'll show you that up there too. All right, so as I was saying, I have an open spot, a few open spots down here, so I'm going to wire it right in. Got it hooked up on the other side. It should come up, and there it is. Ta-da! All right, got it wired in. Put a little 3 amp fuse. Got the negative coming in on this side, positive coming in that side. Put it all together. We'll be done. Give you a handy little level on here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bubble level right there. All right, as I mentioned in the front of the video, I had gotten this install pretty much all done, and then I made some significant changes. So let me tell you why. I originally ordered the 40 amp MPPT controller from Renogy because I had anticipated only adding one additional solar panel up on the roof. Turns out that that Renogy kit that I ordered, the MPPT, came with a 1 core as well as a Bluetooth module. They sent me the wrong Bluetooth module, so I had to order a new one, a different one. And then they also back ordered the 1 core, and they couldn't get that to me for a few weeks. In the meantime, as I was doing this, I discovered that I could get 4 additional solar panels for a great deal of $185 each, and I bought those and had them shipped to New Hampshire. I got to go get them when we go up there for the holidays. So if I'm going to put 4 panels up on the roof, I need a bigger charge controller. So I called Renogy to explain the situation, and they were gracious enough to let me return the 40 amp and give me a big discount on the 40 amp or the 60 amp. So I got that in place, and I have put that all in instead. So let me show you that. And I also got a Renogy Shunt so that I can monitor what's coming in and out of the batteries. Now the batteries do have Bluetooth, but this is an added thing that'll just let me see the entire load being taken by the 12 volt system. So let me show you those changes, and yeah, you can see what I did. And then my part 3 is going to be probably a month away, because I have to go and get those solar panels, and then I'll install those and show you what we do there. All right, here we go. All right, so let me start in here with the upgraded charge controller. Hopefully you can see that. You can notice that it's a bit bigger than the original one that I had in there. The Bluetooth module is mounted over there now. It is the 60 amp. The cabling is a little bit different. Upgraded the cables here from, those were 8s, now those are 4s. And let's see, you can see that right now the single solar panel is putting out 17.7 volts, 13 watts, and it's kind of topping off the batteries. The batteries are pretty much fully charged. It's throwing 0.9 amps towards them. It is a cloudy day, so I don't expect much off the solar panel. So yeah, that's the replacement there, just redressed in the wires. Let me show you underneath what I did differently. All right, so first off, here is the splice that I did. I may have shown you that earlier in the video, but that's the splice of the 10 gauge wires coming down from the solar panels. Those will not need to be changed even when I put in the additional 3 solar panels. I'll be actually replacing this 1 solar panel that's up there with 4. So right now I still have this fuse here. It's a 40 amp with 1 panel. The 40 amp is good enough. We won't be blowing that. Most that I'm going to be throwing at the battery from the solar panel is top end 15 amps, if that. I don't even think it'll reach that actually. But what I'll do is I'll replace that with a proper A&L, probably 75 to 80 amp fuse. I think an 80 amp is what I'll use. As I'm down here discovering things too, you'll notice I label things. So I found out that this is the fuse for the generator. And then the next thing that I did was I put in this Renogy Shunt, and it was easy enough to do. Here's the main negative from the battery. It went down to the chassis here. All I did is I cut it, re-terminated it, and then it has to have a positive. So I do have a sort of positive bus bar here. There was an open slot, so I just put it on. The other thing that I did is I now run the MPPT not to the battery, but to the bus bar instead, which is better for this, understanding what's going on with the battery charges and what's coming off and onto the battery for usage. All right, so that's the changes there. Like I said, I'll be switching this out for a proper fuse when I install the new solar panels. All right, I'm finishing up, I swear. Let me show you the Renogy One Core in action now. Hopefully it focuses. All right, so here it is. We can see the battery, and there's actually 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're fully charged. And then what we can see right now being drawn from the battery, so, well, it was just 0.2 amps, but now it's nothing. The Renogy controller, the 60 amp MPPT, is showing that the solar panels are producing 1.98 watts and 0.15. We've got a lot of DC stuff on, the lights all on over there. So that energy is pretty much getting consumed up, or at least offsetting what's coming out of the converter. And let's see. Oh, there you go. Shows you some details there. And now this also works on an app on the phone. And because this is Wi-Fi connected, I can see this information no matter where I am. Even if I'm away from the rig, just open up the app on the phone. And as long as the rig still has internet connectivity through our Starlink or one of our other internet service providers, we will be able to see what's going on. And let's see what else can I show you on here. Oh, the shunt is on here too. Here's the shunt showing battery voltage. Thinks that there's about 10 days remaining on the battery based on what's being drawn off of it right now. Yeah, shows the battery temperature, all that kind of stuff. Shows that the Bluetooth is mesh, which means that all the Bluetooth devices are using each other to kind of communicate and get the signal strong enough so that it reaches to this device. We're about, from the batteries and the shunt, we're about probably 12 to 15 feet away. All right, so that's going to finish it up for this video. Let me give you a quick recap and we'll take it from there. All right, we are at the end of part 2 of this video series. I have been kicked out of the rig into the rain because Ellen is on the phone. I got to get this video finished up today. So here I am. So this project took me, I think I'm on like 5 or 6 weeks because of all the logistics of getting the product shipped to me. I was traveling around, weather played an impact on it as well. But hey, we're finally at the end. I'm going to do the third part. Like I said, that's going to be a while away because I got to go up to New Hampshire around Thanksgiving time, pick up those panels, and then get back down to Florida, and I'll do that project there. So if you're interested in seeing that, please make sure that you hit that notification bell, please, and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And then my standard spiel. If you got value from this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. And if you think anybody else will get value from this content, please share it out to them. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. I'm getting close to that 1,000 mark that we've been aiming for 2 years. Content must not be that good because we're not getting a lot of subscribers. But hey, I like doing it anyway, and I hope I'm helping you guys out. Again, thanks for watching. Take care. Hope to see you again.